It's your girl, Hope Your TV Movie Bestie, and I watch good shit. And I just got done watching this week's episode of Widow's Bay. Now, y'all, this thing is getting good. I feel like the previous episodes have kind of been like, that's kind of weird. What's going on there? But like this episode, I feel like solidified. Oh no, it's some crazy shit going on. Last week, the Sea Hag, that was a little like, wait now. But this one, Okay, so we open up with the radio call that was at the end of the third episode. And that's Bashir. He's calling for everybody to come out to the Sunset Cocktails. And he said, I don't know what's going on, but he sounds very worried and concerned. Then we go 4 days back in time. And we start with Trisha. And Trisha is doing like this book donation thing. She has a box and she's asking for people to donate books. And we see that she runs some kind of like mobile library or something. So most people just putting trash in that little box. So she goes through it. She's like, man. So she does find this one book and it's titled Your Turn. It seems to be like a self-help book. So she just puts it back on the shelf and she goes to this party. Now, when she to the party, it's clear they don't want her there. And so she got a bottle of wine and she's like, hey, you told me to show up. And the lady is like, oh, almost like, but you came? I said that, but I didn't really mean for you to come. And so she comes on in, she meets a lady named Shelby. Shelby says she's new in town and she knows one of the other girls. And so she asked Trisha how she knows the other girls. And Trisha said, oh, I went to high school with most of them. And so Shelby says, oh, so then you must know about the girls that died here. And Trisha's like, oh, yeah, definitely. They were a lot of my friends. Oh, what happened? And she said, actually, I was almost one of them. It started with these weird phone calls, like whispering over the phone. And she said, then one day, the boogeyman, he actually showed up at her house. Now, if you remember in an earlier episode, she had mentioned something about the boogeyman to Tom. And of course, you know, Tom takes all of these things as just like folklore and stories about the town, but not that they are real, true things that happen. She starts telling the story to Shelby about what happened. And another lady, she comes over and she purposely bumps into her and wastes her drink all over. Trisha says, oh, let me go clean myself up. She says, I'll be right back. And then I got some questions for you. So she goes to the bathroom. She cleaned herself up. Well, when she come back, all the little women, and I said, oh, these are mean girls. We can tell this right away. All of them are gathered and they're talking about Trish. And they're saying how she made this story up about the boogeyman and she's crazy and just nobody likes her and she's kind of outcast in the town. She's like, hi. And they like, oh, hey, Trisha. And they said, look, can you take a picture of all of us? And she's like, yeah, sure. So she get the camera and the girl goes, this is a picture of me and all my friends, which Trisha is clearly not in it. And so she takes the picture and then the party's kind of over and Trisha leaves. Now, when she gets home, there's a light on in the library, which is, it's like this mobile thing in the back of her house in her yard. She goes in and she looks and she finds the book, Your Turn, that self-help book. It's on the floor. Now, how did it get on the floor? Because on her bookshelf, she's got like a little strap across the book. So they're sort of bound on the shelf. They can't fall off. So how did that happen? She picked up the book and she take it to bed and she start reading it. And there's some questions within the book. Like, what do you like about yourself? Various like questions. And so she starts filling it out. And she gets to a part in the book and it says, you know, if you're looking to like make friends and increase your popularity, things like that, you should throw a party. So she's like, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw a party. So she go to work the next day and she's like, I'm gonna throw a cocktail party. That'll get everybody to come out. We'll do this sunset cocktail party. Everybody will come. They'll have a good time. So she start planning, like she's really into it. She's getting the rest of the folks at work involved. She goes to the diner. She's coming up with menus and stuff. So while she's there, some of these mean girls from the night before, they come in. And she said, hey, y'all, I'm having this party. And she's like, y'all should totally come. Now, when she walk over to their table, they just talking. They don't even acknowledge her. Once she invites them to the party, they're just like, oh, well, that's the same day as Bill's birthday party. Everybody's going to that. And she's like, oh, Bill having a party? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? She said, that's good because I was actually worried that we probably would run out of space. So, cool. They're like, yeah, well, I doubt that'll happen. You don't have to worry about that. She go to the other people in the office and she's like, how many people come to the party? And they like, 3. She's like, 3? Have y'all been getting the word out about this party? She online and she just clicking the button like update and see who has RSVP. Nothing. She's getting worried that nobody's going to come to the party. It's going to fail. So she goes and she reports Bill's party because Bill is having it at this lodge or something and there can only have 30 people and apparently he's about the whole town. She reports it and she's like, look, get this party shut down because if they don't, I'm gonna get their liquor license revoked. Bashir, so he's watching video footage because he's supposed to be looking for this lady that Tom saw on the road. And so he's going through video footage and he sees Trisha. And according to the timestamp, it's 3:45 in the morning. And Trisha, she's sitting at a table just fiercely writing stuff down. And he's like, what the hell going on with her? It's clear this party is not really going to be a hit. Now, Rosemary, another lady who works in the office, she's like, Trish, I'm worried about you. I feel like you putting a lot of energy into this party. And I don't think it's going to be what you want it to be. You're going to be really disappointed. She's just like, can you just be supportive of me? And so she like, okay. So it's the night of the party. And it's only a few people there, a handful of people. And nobody looked like they having a good time. So the mean girls, they show up. And they start mocking Trish. Look at her. She's so stupid. No one came to this little party of hers. Da, 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 da. Why? Why did y'all even come? Y'all clearly don't like this girl. Just leave her alone. I can't stand when people are like that. It's fine to not like somebody, but then don't try to hurt them. Just leave them alone. They go carrying on about Trisha, and she's like, oh no, And then these girls from a bachelorette party, they having a bachelorette party, they come in, and Trisha's like, get these girls shots. So the music start going, and the party starts kind of coming to life. Everybody's seemingly kind of having a good time. Trisha, she's talking to this one guy. He seems to kind of like her, or at least want to talk to her, He's like, these crab cakes are really good. And she said, yeah. He said, did you make them? And she's like, would you believe me if I told you I did? Before he can even answer, this mean girl, Chris, she's like, don't believe her. She's a liar. Trish confronts her. Why are you always so mean to me? And she's like, well, because you're a liar. And she said, I know for a fact that the boogeyman did not come to your house. And Trisha is like, the boogeyman did come to my house. I hid, and for whatever reason, he didn't find me. And so Chris is like, oh, so you just hid. You hid under the bed, and he didn't find you. Why didn't the other girls think of that? And she said, oh, that's right. They did. Because Chris, these were her friends, she said. One girl, she had gotten stabbed already, and she hid in the dryer. And the boogeyman turned the dryer on and baked her ass. I said, oh my gosh. Another girl, she hid under her pool cover, but he was already in there and killed her. All of my friends died, and somehow you survived. And then you made this whole story about you when the tragedy is really these people who died. She go in the kitchen in the back and she's just crying, and she's like, this party is terrible. These mean girls are here. Nobody having a good time. But she still got the book. So she's following what the book tells her to do. And the book says it's time to serve the punch. And she's like, okay, let me try to punch. Now, right away, I said, let me guess. This is like something out of Carrie. So the punch is poison and these mean girls gonna start dying. Is that what's gonna happen? She gets it and she takes it out. And I said, something wrong with that punch. It looked thick as it looked like soup. I was like, something ain't right with that. So anyway, she take it on out. This guy, the same one that was talking to her earlier, he comes up to Trish and he said, you want to dance? So they start dancing. She having a good time. And surprisingly, it seemed like everybody else is starting to have a good time. So now the book says it's time for her to give a toast. So she get the book. It's got a speech laid out. She reads it. It's a hit. Everybody's like, yeah, woo! So Shelby is there and Shelby says, let's go down to the bonfire. And she's like, all right, cool. And she said, come on, Trisha. And she's like, okay, well, let me just get some more punch and then I'll come out and join you. So in the kitchen, Rosemary comes in and she's like, Trisha, I don't know what's going on. And she said, I didn't understand not one thing you said in that speech out there. And she's like, I have my qualms about all of this. And Trisha is just like, can you just be supportive? So she's like, so then Bashir, the cop, he comes in and he starts looking at Trisha and he said, Trisha, what the hell are you doing? And she's like, what? Giving this party? Like, what do you mean? So she look at a table where she got the punch and all this stuff at. Y'all, it's chopped up birds and little animals and stuff. She look in the mirror. Now, this whole time she been wearing a little tiara. And earlier in the episode, one of the mean girls said, what she got on her head? And I'm like, it's her party and she can wear a tiara if she wants to, y'all. It ain't no tiara. She got on antlers and some kind of fur. She looked like something straight out of Yellow Jackets. And if y'all don't know what Yellow Jackets is, wait a little while. As soon as that come back on, I will be talking about that show because I absolutely love it. And it's the last season. But anyways, I digress. So she started freaking out like, what the hell? So Rosemary said, I told you so. And she said, why didn't you say something? You talking about you got your qualms. And so Rosemary said, you told me to be supportive. She go back out to the party and it's weird shit everywhere. It's blood in the cups, little pieces of the birds and whatever little animals chopped up. She pick up the book, the one she been following this whole time, read the toast out of. Y'all, it's some old kind of spell book. It got all kind of symbols and drawings and just all kind of weird shit in. Then it's some kind of Blair Witch stick figure in the book that's on top of a fire. And she's like, oh my gosh, the bonfire. And it's also this little stick figure thing. He's sitting on the table and she's like, oh my gosh, I got to get down to the bonfire. So she run out to the door. Y'all, everybody at the party is got their mouth wide open and just walking aimlessly out into the river, the ocean. And she's like, stop, come back. Nothing. They just walking, getting deeper and deeper, and they ain't trying to stop. They in some kind of trance. She's like, oh my gosh. She take the book and she try to throw it in the fire. The book will not release itself from her hand. Yes, I said what I said. It will not release itself from her hand. So she just hold it over the fire. And so finally the book is like, and it just drops itself. And then all the little stick figure thing, it start falling, crumbling to the ground. And then everybody comes out of their trance. And they're like, what the hell are we doing out here in the water? Bashir is like, oh my gosh. So that was the call that he was making when all the people was walking out into the water. He couldn't get them to stop. Chris, the mean girl, she's like, y'all, we got drugged. It was her. It was Trisha. It was her in that punch. Party's over. Trish leaves. She starts walking home. Now, while she's walking, Tom and Wick, they drive up. Because now remember, this is the same night that Tom and Wick was fooling around with the sea hag. They're like, Trisha, you all right? And she said, no. She said, something happened at the party. I don't know. And they like, okay, well, we need you to come with us because we might need your help. So she get in the car. They drive to the church. Because also remember at the end of the last episode, the priest, he had called and he left this cryptic message on Tom's machine. And he said, I heard it too. I'm sorry. God forgive me. They get into the church. They're looking around. He nowhere to be found. They go into his office. His office is astray. Stuff is thrown everywhere. And so I said, oh, let me guess. He killed himself? Did he hang himself? And what do you know? They shut the door, looking around, and boom, there he go, hanging on the back of the door, dead. I said, Lord, and how he get on the back of the door? But anyway, and the episode goes off. Y'all. Now this starting to be like, okay, these are not coincidences. This is not some kind of made up story because what in the world was going on? So, I really want to know more about this boogeyman thing and how he killed all these people. What does Trish know? What's her connection to this? And what is the connection to the town? Like all of this is clearly just Widow's Bay that all of this is going on. So what happened? Like what caused this, I don't know, evil? Because that's what the priest keeps saying, evil is here. What caused that to be here? What happened that, I don't know, souls are at unrest or whatever? I am very interested. I am loving Widow's Bay. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm your TV movie bestie. I'm on all the socials. Like, subscribe, and follow. And I will see y'all on the next show, on the next episode. Bye, besties.